Hello my friends, my name is Artur and I am an Estonian soldier. What can we do against tanks in Estonian military? As an infantryman, as an infantry communications, what can we do against Russian tanks? The only thing we can do is javelins. We have javelins from the United States of America, yeah baby, and they are very effective. You could say that they are 100% effective. We don't have tanks in Estonia, no we don't. The biggest mortars we have are 120 millimeters. That is as big as the turret on a Russian tank. The Armata turret, I believe it was 120. That's our biggest infantry weapon. Without those javelins, the only thing what we would have is Carl Gustav, which is an anti-tank bazooka kind of thing, you know. It's really heavy as an infantryman, it's very difficult to carry that around, and it's not even 100% effective to take down the newest Russian Armata tank. I think you need 3 to 4 Carl Gustav shots. Not good enough, we're gonna die by the time we get 3 shots in. But javelins, you only need 1 shot. So today, my friends, we're going to react to the United States Javelin. And I'm so glad we have them. Without the US, our anti-tank capability would be a lot less. So thank you, USA. But as always, before we go, there are Patreons. Now, I will tell you, YouTube has done 2 negative things for my channel. I don't know why. I think it's automated. First of all, they are taxing my channel. So that's double taxing. Estonian government taxes me and American government taxes me, because Google auto taxes now. And second of all, automatic unsubscriptions. I go to my subscribe page, look at this photo. You can see it on this photo. In the past, before that happened, every month I got like 5,000 subscribers. Now, for half a year, I have gotten 0 more. It has been on 342,000 for 6 months. Because every time a new subscriber comes in, YouTube automatically unsubscribes some other people to the equal amount. So I am not gaining subscribers because YouTube is punishing military channels. Why I'm saying this is because I rely on Patreons, because I cannot grow on YouTube anymore. That means my revenue can't go bigger. That means Patreons are more important than ever. And we have 3 new names who have pledged tier 10 and above. We have Mr. Devon Dor, who actually pledged 25. What? That's a big amount. Thank you, Devon. Thank you. That's above tier 10. We have Mirai Vegeta. Vegeta is actually a seasoning in Estonia that we put in a soup or whatever you want to fry something. You want to add salt. You put Vegeta in. It's a very good tasting seasoning. So thank you, Mrs. or Mr. Seasoning, for becoming a patron. And finally, we have Francis. Francis also pledged tier 10. Thank you, Francis, for becoming a patron. If you want to be in that list, head the link in the description below and become a patron of this channel. Alright my friends, let's see what is this Javelin all about and if we can take down all of the Russian tanks with it. And before we go, say hi to Sami. Sami is editing the videos in Finland. Hi Sami. Oh, that's the Javelin, my friend. I'm sure you all have shot it
is Javelin
in Call of Duty.
anti-tank missile.
Very. Wait, just write it in the comments if you have used that Javelin missile in Call of Duty. That basically means you have used it in real life. I have shot it in Call of Duty and destroyed some Russian tanks with it. Yeah, baby. It looks big and bulky, but
US-made
it's...
FGM-148 Javelin is one of the premier portable anti-tank missile systems in the world.
Whoa. Woo!
It's also an expensive piece of kit, with each missile typically costing more than the targets it eliminates. Still, the infrared guided Javelin...
More the targets? Well, if it takes down a truck, then it costs more. One missile is supposed to cost, as much as I know, $100,000. 1 million. No. Thing is, Estonian government and the Estonian defense forces are not known to be very rich. So we have these javelins, right? We have to practice with them, but we cannot actually pay for people to practice with them. With every shot costing $100,000. So every year we have these huge combat exercises when we only shoot one Javelin missile. So every year, one lucky conscript gets to shoot one Javelin missile, and that's $100,000 out of the window. We cannot afford more, unfortunately. We are saving those javelins for Russian tanks, and the tank costs more than 100,000. So if you take down a tank, then the missile is worth it. And we're saving the javelins for those occasions. And if you're wondering what do we practice with, then simulation, because we don't have the money for the real thing.
Has proven itself in combat in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, and has reliable shtick that should work on virtually any tank out there.
Yeah.
It hits them on the weak top armor. It also exposes its crew to less danger than the typical guided missile system. Because it's such a lightweight system, it may end up being a first responder on the ground to emergencies that could be described as massive, unexpected tank invasions.
Yeah, you shoot it, it flies, it goes up, and then it comes down. So it shoots the tank to the most vulnerable spot, which is on top. Plus, it's quite far away you can shoot it. Carl Gustav, you shoot it on top of your shoulder. It's a heavy bazooka thing. You have to carry that around, your back hurts, you're not very fast. You have to get close to the tank. As an infantryman, it's almost impossible to get close to those tanks. So Carl Gustav is meh. But this Javelin thing, you shoot it from far away, it's lightweight, it's accurate, it destroys the tank with one shot. Yes, please. Send us more, Joe Biden.
A scenario the U.S. military could have faced during Operation Desert Shield when it deployed light infantry to defend Saudi Arabia and currently fears in the Baltics. The Javelin is so effective that who the United States sells or gives Javelins to has become a political issue on more than one occasion. Within the U.S. military, the Javelin also looks set to transition from being purely an infantry system to being mounted on vehicles.
Yeah, why not?
So,
why not?
How does one throw these anti-tank spears? And why are they so powerful? The Javelin doesn't look as sleek and deadly as its name would have you think. It resembles a clunky dumbbell slightly over 1 meter in length. Fortunately, you don't need good looks to blow up a tank. The Javelin's Command Launch Unit, CLU, has a sophisticated infrared sensor with multiple views.
See, the tube here costs nothing. It's plastic, it's lightweight. What costs is the shot inside the tube. And this gadget here, this is infrared laser. It's a crazy gadget. It costs a lot of money. They break also sometimes, and they have a battery inside. You have to actually charge those batteries. They take a lot of electricity. So as an infantryman, you have to carry around those batteries, the charger and everything. It's a lot more than meets the eye. It looks plasticky and cheap, but it is deadly as hell.
Viewing modes, including 4x optical zoom, a 4x green-lit thermal view, a 12x narrow vision zoom activated for targeting. The seeker in the missile even provides a fourth 9x thermal viewing mode. The CLU can therefore serve as a handy scanning device for the infantry.
Yeah.
The thermal viewers on the Javelin need to be cooled off to function well, which theoretically takes 30 seconds, but might take a bit longer if you're in Baghdad and it's a breezy 120 degrees at noon.
That's not going to be a problem in Estonia, where most of the year it's cold. Only 3 months we get full sun, that's in the summer, and then we get rain also sometimes. So yeah, Javelin's perfect for Estonia.
The system also incorporates multiple safeguards to avert or abort accidental launch. The CLU, when loaded with a missile, weighs in at 50 pounds. Most of the weight comes from the missile and can be fired from a crouch or even seated position. That's a lot lighter than the wire-guided tow or other long-range missiles that typically required a heavy tripod.
It's a lot
Still,
lighter.
It's not exactly something you'd want to run a marathon with. Once the firer acquires a target, locks the infrared seeker onto it, and pulls the trigger, the Javelin missile is ejected out of the CLU without using its rocket motor in soft launch, creating relatively little backblast. Missile launch
Backblast, I gotta pause here. So backblast is a real problem. Backblast is the fire that comes out of the back of the bazooka thing, and when you shoot it, you shoot a lot of fire when debris comes out of the back. In computer games it's nothing, but in real life we use those Carl Gustav anti-tank systems. Put it on your shoulder, you shoot 10 meters behind you, that's 30 feet. If you're standing there, you might get blind or death. It pushes you back, you fall against the tree and you break your arm. It has happened. It's just not theoretical warnings. It actually happens in Estonia. Conscripts shoot, and the wingman of the shooter has to always clear the back. It's clear, you tap on 2 times on the shoulder of the shooter, he shoots. Now, if it's not clear in the back, he taps and you shoot, somebody is there, that dude is gonna get hurt. We have some blindings, some people have lost their eyesight, some people lose their hearing because it's so damn loud. Backblast is damn dangerous, and javelins don't have backblasts. Hee-haw! That's American engineering for you, my friends.
Blast not only makes it easy for opposing forces to spot the launcher after firing, but can make launching while inside a confined space, a building, a deadly risk. So the Javelin's small backblast is very handy for keeping the operator alive.
Yes.
Still, the launch does blow back some gas, so you don't want to stand directly behind it. Afterwards, the Javelin's gunner must, actually the gunner could play Candy Crush on their cell phone if they wanted to, because unlike most long-range anti-tank missiles, the Javelin is a fire and forget system and requires no further input after launch.
Fire and forget, I love it. You just shoot and you sit back and you watch that damn Armata tank burst into flames. I like it. Fire and forget.
The Javelin crew is free to duck into cover and concealment rather than being forced to remain fixed in place guiding the missile toward the target, as is necessary with semi-automatic command line of sight SACLOS systems such as the wire-guided TOW or laser-guided AT-14 Cornet. After launch, a Javelin shoots forward horizontally for a second before its rocket motor ignites and it climbs up 150 meters into the air, known as a curveball shot. It's quite a sight. The missile's infrared seeker, benefiting from gyroscopes and gimbals, makes adjustments using thrusters to ensure its trajectory leads it to plunge almost vertically into the infrared signature it was locked onto. A Javelin fired in this manner will strike the top armor of an armored vehicle, which is generally much thinner than the frontal or even side armor. The Javelin 127mm shaped charge warhead is estimated to penetrate the equivalent of 600 to 800 millimeters of rolled hardened armor, RHA.
800 millimeters! No tank in the world, I think, has a top armor of the turret of 800 millimeters. Yes, they have side armors even thicker than that, but the top armors are weak, so I think this Javelin can take down any tank in the world right now.
Which is not particularly impressive, given that modern tanks now feature composite armor that is extra effective against such warheads. But that really doesn't matter. It's still more than enough to penetrate the top armor of anything out there, at least as long as we don't consider other defensive systems. One common defense, which sometimes does reinforce top armor, is explosive reactive armor, ERA, a layer of explosive bricks covering a tank intended to prematurely detonate the shaped charges used by missiles. However, the Javelin has a tandem charge warhead designed to defeat ERA using a precursor charge at the front of the warhead to take out the local ERA brick, blasting open a gap through which the main warhead can hit the tank's conventional armor. The Javelin can also be fired in direct attack mode, useful for hitting targets that are too close for the top attack or that benefit from top cover, like a bunker or cave entrance. The direct fire mode could also be effective against low-flying helicopters. One of the Javelin's few limitations is its range, 2.5 kilometers. Though adequate for most combat situations.
2.5 kilometers is twice as much as we in Estonia could use with Carl Gustav. Carl Gustav, you have to shoot, and 1.5 clicks. You can hit the tank if you're a good shot, but over that, no. I mean, yeah, there are Carl Gustav snipers who can do it at 2 clicks and more, but it's difficult, and you will waste your shot and the enemy sees you and shoots at you. So 2.5 clicks with this Javelin with 100% effectiveness, much better than Carl Gustav, but also much more expensive.
Situations, older missiles like the TOW or Cornet boast ranges of 5 kilometers or more.
Beautiful. Pretty.
So, do they actually work?
Yes! What
The
is
Javelin was designed in the 70s and 80s when the leaders of the US military had nightmares about being overrun by endless hordes of Soviet tanks, a fear worsened by the generally poor performance of the M47 Dragon missile in use at the time. However, the Javelin finally entered service in the U.S. military in 1996 after the Cold War had ended, and first saw action in 2003 during the U.S. invasion of Iraq. At the time, the United States was not able to deploy troops to northern Iraq by land, so instead it airdropped special forces and paratroopers that fought alongside Kurdish Peshmerga fighters. In the Battle of Debeka Pass, a force of a few dozen special forces operators and a larger Peshmerga contingent engaged and destroyed an Iraqi mechanized company of over 100 soldiers. The U.S. force had just 4 Javelin launch units, 19 Javelin missiles were fired, 17 of which hit, destroying 2 T-55 tanks, 8 MT-LB armored personnel carriers, and several trucks.
Okay, if you shoot a Javelin to hit a truck, that's a waste. Truck costs $40,000-$50,000. Javelin costs $100,000 plus. You can destroy a truck with an under-battery grenade. One is enough. Or you just shoot at the truck's engine or tires, it goes down. You shoot the driver, it goes down. Armored personnel carrier costs more. Hitting that with the Javelin is almost worth it. That's an expensive vehicle and it's much more dangerous to you than a truck. Tanks is where it's at. You gotta shoot a tank. We in Estonia, as I said, we don't have tanks. We have armored personnel carriers. We have a lot of trucks. So I only rode in trucks when I was in the military. I was always in the back, in my truck, sitting like in Call of Duty 1 where you go somewhere, you have to wait somewhere like that. Wait. Go, go, go! You get off the track and then you you fortify the area around the truck. That's what you do. Trucks are pointless.
Reportedly, all of the Javelin shots were made at 2,200 meters range or further, close to or exceeding the official maximum range of the weapon, and one hit was even reported at 4,200 meters.
What?
Javelins knocked out several more tanks during the Iraq War, including Type 69 tanks and Lion of Babylon T-72s, none of them cutting-edge types. As the conventional phase of the conflict ended, the Javelin's main duty soon came to sniping smaller, softer targets. The Javelin's precise targeting scope was ideal for spotting and taking out at long ranges insurgent heavy weapons teams armed with machine guns, missiles, or recoilless rifles.
Yeah, if you have a fortified infantry machine gun position, fortified with sandbags and everything, it's kind of very convenient to take it out with the Javelin. Because it's 100% effective. If it goes down and takes everything with it. But it's a waste because it's so expensive. USA can do it. In Estonia, we're not allowed. I would love to do that.
Rifles, as well as the occasional pickup truck. Other weapon systems available to the infantry lack the combination of long range and precision. The future of the Javelin. The Javelin has undergone quite a few upgrades since initial deployment in 1996. Let's take a look at...
I was born in 1996. Good year. Me and Javelin, both of us.
3 of the most important ones. Given that the Javelin has been used primarily to hit soft targets and structures, a new version of the Javelin warhead with a deadlier blast fragmentation has been introduced. Designated as the FGM-148F, this new warhead is supposedly just as effective against tanks and no costlier than its predecessors. Finally, a new extended-range Javelin has been recently tested, capable of hitting targets up to 4.5 kilometers away. This is significant, as one of the chief rationales for keeping the TOW missile as the standard vehicle-mounted anti-tank weapon was its longer range of nearly 5 kilometers. A long-range Javelin would seem to be superior. In any case, the Javelin missile remains one of the United States' most potent systems on the ground, and one that seems set to increase in capability and be deployed on a greater number of platforms.
This missile alone is what makes Russia afraid of Estonian infantry. Without the US backing, we don't have much. Carl Gustav, right? You need 4 shots to take down a Russian tank. If you're lucky, you do it with 1 shot. But if we have these missiles, Russians will think twice before they roll their tanks over our borders, because we can take them all down. We go to the forest, baby, we have a lot of javelins, we aim them at the tanks and we make dust of them. So yeah, Mr. Putin is afraid now. Thank you, USA.
Presence or absence on battlefields around the world will remain both consequential and highly scrutinized.
It looks looks so cool also, sure. Come on, let's see the blast, let's see the blast. I can't see the blast. My friends, thank you for sharing this with me. As an Estonian, a small country, you know, watching these military videos really gives me hope and gives me certainty that we are well protected by the United States of America and by other NATO countries. What I'm watching here is basically our military defenses. We cannot allow them to ourselves without NATO, but we are in the NATO. So thank you NATO and thank you USA. If you like these videos, my friends, then please support the channel, become a Patreon, the link is in the description below. Become a tier 10 or above, so I will mention your name also. Say hi to Sami in the comments, and as always, until my next video, stay cool my friends, and bye bye.